Hey, welcome back to the studio. I'm Toby, and if you don't know me, I'm a photographer and I love to go out and travel, but I haven't been doing many videos recently, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. But while I do it, I'm also going to be working on a guitar. You see, while I'm not on YouTube doing photography or traveling, I like to restore guitars. I fractured my ankle, and it meant that I haven't been able to drive, I haven't been able to walk, I haven't been able to do a bunch of stuff, and I've had to fall back on some hobbies that are slightly more down to earth. This is my favorite guitar. I love this guitar. This is a Mini Martin. It's a Sheeran edition, and you can actually see that down there is my next project guitar. I got that one for £10 yesterday on the outskirts of London. Today we're in the studio because we're going to be preparing to go car camping. What that means is we're going to be collecting all of the stuff that we're going to need to go car camping. So that's going to be looking at things like how we're going to sleep, how we're going to eat, what we're actually going to do. Smart cars aren't really the cars people use to go car camping in, but it's the car that I own. It's really cheap to run, and at the moment the petrol is very high. Parking is always quite difficult, and so this car means that I'm able to go wherever I want. I'm able to save money in the process of traveling. I'm not paying for accommodation because I'm sleeping in the car, and I'm having a bit of a challenge, and I like a challenge. So first of all, let's take a look at the sleeping setups that I use. So originally when I first started car camping, I got myself this. I've actually got it in a vlog where I pick it up. This was my air mattress. Ooh, my air mattress that just dropped its charger on my broken ankle. That's brilliant. So it has this, which is an air pump. And then this was the air mattress. I used it for one trip and quickly realized it wasn't going to work. It doesn't stay deflated in the car. And so I then moved on to this, and this is what I've been using ever since. This is my futon. So it's a 3-part futon. It folds out, and in the car, it'll go from the front to the back of the car. It's quite thin in width, meaning there's not much room to roll around in, but because I've got a small car, that makes sense. And to keep that flat, I built this. Now this is actually a wooden board. See, in here there's just a wooden plank, and then I've put some white material around it. This board has been cut specifically with that little notch, and that notch means that I can wrap it around the gearbox, which sticks out a little bit. So that board provides me a nice flat surface to sleep on. So they're quite big things that I have to store in the car. I've got this big padded pillowcase, and I've got this flat plank of wood. That's pretty much all the sleeping. I'll bring a blanket and a pillow. I have over here, I've got a car blanket, which I actually just always have in my car just in case. So this is a thin sheet, but I sleep really hot, so I'm not the kind of person that gets cold in the night. I actually was in Wales car camping, and it was -2 degrees in the morning, and I didn't even realize, I didn't know until I looked at the car and it said -2, and then there was frost and it made sense, but it would have got colder in the night. So I'm okay with that. Last time I went car camping was this time last Easter, so a year ago, and I was going to Suffolk and I was going to Wales in 2 separate trips, and I was meant to go to Wales first, but it was raining in Wales, but it was sunny in Suffolk, so I went to Suffolk first, and then came back, and then it was sunny in Wales, so then I went to Wales and I chased the sun, and I kind of felt like a tornado wrangler, those people you read about or watch movies about in America when they're chasing these tornadoes and these dramatic storms. I was chasing the sun in the UK, which I'd say is just as rare. Now let's look at the stuff that I'm going to use to do cooking. I think that's quite a big thing, isn't it? So I have here a collapsible wash-up basin. Now this wash-up basin is great for storing stuff in, and it's waterproof, and you can actually use the center. There's a wasp. You can use the center as a chopping board. In here I have some plates. Now here I have this kind of plastic dish style plate, and then I've got these, which are very thin, but there's 4 very standard camping plates. Now I'm actually not keen on the plastic. I watched a documentary recently that really put me off using plastic stuff, and this is a lot of thin, relatively cheap plastic, but currently it's all I've got. I do want to upgrade. I don't know if enamel is better than plastic. I've got some research to do. Something I've never had in the past is a bowl. I've always just eaten directly out of the saucepan or had to use these tiny little red cups, which I'll come to later. But here I actually now have a proper sized bowl. I got this one for Christmas, and it came with some cutlery as well. So again, it's all plastic. Probably won't keep it for that long, but it'll be good to use for now. So that's the cooking stuff that's in the wash-up basin, and this is a collapsible wash-up basin which sits in this cabinet. I hope you can see this here. The basin fits perfectly into this hole in this cabinet, but I'll come to that a bit later. Then for cooking, I've got things like a chopping board. Here's a cup to go with that purple set. I've got a little flask inside in case I boil water and then want to keep a bit of it hot. This is a car kettle. So you actually put, let's open it up. You put water inside it, and then using the 12-volt socket in the car, you can boil water. It takes about 20 minutes, so it's not very quick, but it is good for boiling water. And you can plug it into an external battery pack, which I also have. So if you were in a tent and it was raining and you didn't want to use fire because you're in a tent, you can actually heat water in that and have a pot noodle, say. It'll get you through the night. Here I have some containers. These are just very cheap. Again, plastic, which isn't ideal. Containers for storing extra food because you don't want to waste food when you're car camping. I have a lighter, and that will go with the stove that I'll show you in a bit. I have, let me get these ones out. These are some pots and pans. Now these are the very typical, everyone's seen them camping. Very typical pots and pans. Last time I cooked with them, I used this very intense pocket camping stove. I loved it, but it actually burnt the material of one of the bottom of the tins, which means I'm probably not going to use that again. Instead, I'm going to use a cast iron pan. I'll use this cast iron pan that you can see. And here is the stove that I use to cook. Other little things are spatulas. I've got a spatula here, just this red simple silicone spatula, meaning it can withstand the heat. I have this tin opener. Tins are vital. When you're on the road, you're going to use tins a lot. They store, they keep. And that's brilliant when it comes to cooking. You know that you can just crack open a tin. You don't have to worry about the food having gone off. So tins are a brilliant way of getting by with food. So I think that's quite a lot of the stuff that I'll use to cook and stuff. And I'll keep that in this white tub. Now there's other stuff in this white tub right now because I haven't organized it yet. This white tub will keep all of the cooking stuff. I'll have one for cooking stuff. I'll then have another tub that I think is pink. That one will be for food. And then I'll have another area where I can put my clothes. I'm not going to talk about clothes in this video. I will make a video if you guys really want it. But I basically bring clothes as if I was going overnight anywhere. Because I'm in a car, so I don't have to pack super light or anything. It's not like I'm backpacking. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And what am I going to do when I'm there? Now, I last summer went camping in the Peak District. I went camping in this tiny little wild camping tent, which I've since upgraded. I now have this down here. You can see it's here. It's an 8-man yurt. I either go way too small or way too big. Hey, tiny car, but then I want to upgrade it to a Toyota Land Cruiser. I went from a tiny wild camping tent to an 8-man yurt. So now you're starting to see that my character and the way that I like to do things. I'm going to look for areas where there's lots of these English heritage sites all together, and I can then travel between them as I car camp in this little road trip style thing. Look at this. Some true oil. This is what we use to give the guitar a nice finish. I've never used this before. Now, this is another thing that I like to do. I take up hobbies that I've never done before, and I learn on the job. Car camping, that was the case, and it was really cool. My first car camp, I used an air mattress. I have the air mattress down here, but it didn't work. It deflated 3 times in the night. It doesn't actually fit in the car, and if there's pressure on the side of an air mattress, it deflates. So I upgraded to the futon that you can see here. And things like that where I just learn as I go. I'm doing the same with this. I have looked at a little bit of research, but I think it's a really good way of doing life. You see, if you're going car camping, you don't need to know everything before you go. In fact, the less you know, the more of an adventure you're going to have. And I think that's where the stories are made. That's where you come away with tales to tell. And yes, it means things that maybe they're unideal will happen. But what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I encourage you guys, if you want to go traveling, if you want to, you know, travel like Bear Grylls, but you have the budget of a homeless person, go car camping. Now I'm going to look at the rest of the little bits that are in these boxes. So I have, this is a collapsible shovel. You never know when you'll need a collapsible shovel. If you know, you know. Here I have this humidity catcher. It's like this bag that I can put in the car. You see, in the car, there's a lot of condensation. It all builds up, and having something to catch it is quite nice. Keeps the car a little bit drier. In here is not a Rubik's Cube. It's a mystery. You'll have to watch my videos to find out what's in that box. I have a bike lock. Just in case I need to secure the car a bit, you can put it around a tyre or around the steering wheel. It's good just to keep the car a bit more secure. I have some blue cloths. This is something I forgot, the cleaning stuff. So I'll bring some fairy liquid. I'll have sponges, cloths, as you would in a house, and I can use this wash-up basin to do that. The last thing is a bit of elastic cord, or some cord that you'd use to, what they call it, like the guy ropes cord for tents, some cord just in case you need to tie stuff up. Always handy to have. Car camping is a brilliant way of exploring loads of places for free, essentially. You're just camping wherever you want to camp. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm getting a white t-shirt. I'm going to be wrapping that up into like a sponge for this oil. So, what have I said? This video is very much just an uncut chatting video. I'm doing a few of these, and I hope you're enjoying the just openness of them. Talked about my ankle. I broke my ankle, and where we're going car camping. Now, we're going to talk about what you actually need to think about when you go car camping, because it's quite a big deal to go out and live in your car on your own. And something I get asked a lot is, how are you not scared? And actually, fear is not something that I've really experienced that much when I go out, because maybe it's just because I'm a young man and I'm not a very high risk category. But I also know that most people won't know I'm there. When I car camp, when I car camp, I'm in this tiny city car. And if that's parked on the side of the road, no one's really thinking twice. So that's a good way of blending in, of actually just stealth camping and having no one notice. Now, this cabinet is quite a simple design. It's just a black piece of wood. It's got a little cutout at the back here, and that's so that it fits in the car and actually maximizes the amount of surface top that I can have. What I have is a little bit of side behind the sink. That's so that the sink doesn't take up half of the space. So I actually have some surface behind the sink and potential to put water tanks underneath it and a tap that could put water into the sink. It could. Sneak preview on a potential upgrade. So that's an idea there. And then this decent bit of kitchen side. It's nice just to have a top for when you're in the car and you want to just put stuff on a flat surface. So that's handy. And then I've got these black curtains down the bottom. So we can lift up these black curtains, and inside is actually just more space, really. There is this wall at the front to stop stuff from sliding across the car. And then in here is where I'd store my boxes, so my cooking stuff, for example. This box could just go in here, and it actually fits underneath the sink, which is good. It means if the sink is popped down, I can still have it in there. The sink can pop up, so let's just pop this sink flat. If you haven't seen these before, they're really smart in the way that they just fold into themselves. So you have flat, that is. That will sit flat on the top there. And now there's a lot more depth in this cupboard to store more stuff. It gives me almost 2 tiers of storing in the car, which is handy. The one thing that this cabinet is a little bit rickety. It doesn't necessarily stand completely flat in the car, so I am going to try and make that more stable. And what you can see is around the top here, we also have these panels of lights. I have a battery pack, which is here. This is just kept down the front of the cabinet, so it's easy to access. I haven't turned these lights on since I car camped with this last year. Let's see if they work. There we go. They still work. So you can see that these lights have actually been ran all around the edges. And that means that I can see what's in the cabinet. So if I'm looking for what I need or something, I can have the lights in the cabinet. Pop the curtains down and the light will just gently come through if you want a more kind of relaxed light in the evening. But it was an easy thing to do. Just £5, home bargains, grab that strip of LEDs, just stick them on. And I think it adds quite a lot to the cabinet. So that's the cabinet, which I realise I've talked quite a lot about, but it does make car camping much nicer. So done bed, done food, done cabinet, power. When you're car camping, power is important. So let me show you my best friend. Now I bought this full price. I was like, I need one of these. It will be worth it. Let me just, hang on a minute. Here we go. This is the Jackery power station. So Jackery, it's a 240 Explorer, so it's not the hugest battery there is, but it's got a nice handle. This handle folds flat. That makes it a nice simple square, so it's easy to move around. And it will charge my phone plenty, it'll charge my laptop a few times. It means I don't have to worry about having that leisure battery, because my car obviously doesn't have a leisure battery. This acts as that leisure battery, but sometimes it will still run out. That's where this comes in. Even bigger piece of kit is a solar panel. Now this solar panel will sit in the windshield of my car. I tested it out when I was camping last summer. It fits in the windshield of my car and will charge the Jackery. So if I run out of power in my little power station, I can pop this in the windshield of my car while I'm out, while I'm living life, and it will charge the power station. So when I come back, I should have a pretty decent amount of power. That's really cool. Oh, this stuff is pungent. Entertainment things are just like books and actually going out, exploring. There's a lot of walking, and by the time you get back to the car, quite often you just want to sleep, sometimes for 10 hours. When it's dark, you go to the car and you sleep. And then when it's light in the morning, you get up. So you very much work with the season, with the sun as it rises and as it drops. And it's a really cool way of living. Your body feels like it's in tune with the world. I have quite a simplistic approach when it comes to car camping. I go as if I'm doing regular camping, knowing that my entertainment is going to be my surroundings. I'm going to do lots of walking if my ankle isn't broken. And then when I get back to the car, it's just going to be surviving. It's going to be cooking my food. It's going to be sleeping well. And it's going to be making sure that I have enough power to document the process and get in touch with people where I need to. So this video has been very casual, I know, and I hope that's been all right. My next video is hopefully going to be a car camping adventure, and they have a slightly higher production, as you know if you've been on this channel a little while. I hope this has given you a bit of an insight into what goes into the whole car camping process, and I really hope to see you when I'm on the road doing a car camping video. You comment places which you think I should visit. You guys have a huge reach of places that you know. I mean, there's almost 6,000 of you now. If every one of you just suggests one place, I'll be traveling for years. See if you can pop it in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you when we're on the road.